Namaskar and hello everyone. This is Aparna Rajhans, Head Department of Second Languages and Associate Professor of Sanskrit, St. Joseph's Degree and PG College, Hyderabad. Let us begin with a Shanti Mantra. Om Sarve Api Sukhinas Santu Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Before we go to the topic, that is Bhagavad Gita, a motivational path to fight anxiety and depression, I would like to throw some light on the concept of dharma. Dharma is the greatest and most valuable contribution to humanity by Bharat Varsha, our beloved motherland. On account of its antiquity, utility, and universality, the very mention of that word rouses a conscience of an individual in this land. All our present day problems are a direct result of disregarding dharma under the influence of materialistic philosophy in the belief that it alone can usher in happiness and secure the welfare of the people. Now it is becoming clear that human problems multiply as we go on multiplying our lust and desire for material wealth and pleasure, and that the solution to all the problems, social, economic, and political, which the world and our nation is facing, in particular, the crash of moral edifice, dharma alone is the panacea. There is no alternative to dharma. This is the eternal truth. This can be realized if we understand the real meaning of dharma. Dharma is a Sanskrit expression of the widest import. There is no corresponding word in any other language. It would also be futile to attempt to give any definition to that word. It can only be explained. It has wide varieties of meanings. Mahabharat, the great epic which is acclaimed as Manava Kartavya Shastra, that is, Code of Duties of Human Beings, contains many discussions on this topic. On being asked by Yudhishthir to explain the meaning and scope of dharma, Bhishma, who has mastered the knowledge of dharma, replied thus: Tadrusho yamuno prashno yatra dharmah sudurlabhah dushkarah pratisankhyatum tatke natra vyavasyati prabhavarthaya bhutanam dharma pravachanam kritam yah syat prabhava sanyuktah sa dharma iti nishchayah. It is most difficult to define dharma. Dharma has been explained to be that which helps the upliftment of living beings. Therefore, that which ensures welfare of living beings is surely dharma. The learned rishis have declared that which sustains is dharma. This is from the Shanti Parva of Mahabharata. In Karna Parva, chapter 69, verse 58, eulogizes dharma in the following words: Dharanat dharma ityahur dharmo dharayate prajaha yat syad dharana sanyuktam sa dharma iti nishchayah. Dharma sustains the society. Dharma maintains the social order. Dharma ensures well-being and progress of humanity. Dharma is surely that which fulfills these objectives. Jaimini, the author of celebrated Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa, explains dharma thus: Sahi nishreyasena purusham sanyunaktiti pratijanimahe तदाभिधीयते Dharma is that which is indicated by the Vedas as conducive to highest good. Dharma was founded as the solution to the eternal problems confronting the human race, originating from the natural human instincts. Akamasya kriya काचित् दृश्यते नेह कर्हिचित् यद्दद्धि कुरुते किंचित् तत्तत् कामस्य चेष्टितम्. This is from Manusmriti. It says, there is no act of man which is free from desire. Whatever a man does is the result of impulse of desire. Dharma or rule of righteous conduct was evolved as a solution to the eternal problem arising out of natural instinct of man. Dharma is a collective term for the entire code of righteous conduct, covering every sphere of human activity and in every capacity or role of an individual in relation to other individuals. These rules could broadly be classified under three heads: Samanya Dharma, that is, general code of righteous conduct for all individuals; Vyavahara Dharma, civil and criminal laws to be obeyed by the individuals, which are enforced by the exercise of executive power of the state or through judiciary; and Raja Dharma or constitutional law, which regulates the exercise of executive and judiciary power of the state. Manusmriti and also the Yajnavalkya Smritis clearly indicated the sources from which dharma is to be ascertained. Vedo khilo dharma moolam smriti shile cha tadvidam acharashchaiva sadhunama tvanastushtirevacha. That is, Ved is the first source of dharma. The exposition by the seers, that is the Smritikaras, handed down from generation to generation by memory, the virtuous conduct of those who are well versed in the Vedas, and lastly, what is agreeable to the good conscience are the other sources. Turning towards the topic, I would like to quote Kavi Kulaguru Kalidas. He wrote in Kumarasambhavam, Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. This body is surely the foremost instrument of doing good deeds. There is also a famous adage, healthy mind in a healthy body. One of India's ancient medical science is Ayurveda. It is a study of a human's positive self-being. It aims at studying man in his social, religious, seasonal, climatic, and regional environment. After studying Ayurveda, one observes that there is more emphasis on maintenance and preservation of normal physical and mental health than on the treatment of any disease or illness. Ayurveda is a therapeutical treasure. Indian medical science had linked human thoughts to human health and evolved the therapeutical knowledge ages ago. The purer and positive the thoughts, the better the health. Today, modern science is slowly accepting the psychosomatic reasons for the advent of diseases. For this reason, Yoga, Ayurveda are becoming popular as alternative medicines to allopathy. Our seers who had bequeathed us this knowledge deserves to be thanked, adored, and worshipped. Charak Samhita talks about a healthy person in the following lines. Samadoshaha samagnischa samadhatu malakriyaha prasannatmendriya manaha swastha ityabhidhiyate. That is, in whom there is a balance of the three doshas like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, 7 dhatus like lymph, blood, flesh, fatty tissue, bone marrow, and semen, and malakriya, that is, proper balanced excretion of feces, urine, and sweat, and who has self control of senses and sense organs and mind, such a person has been defined as a healthy person. When you talk about depression and spirituality, every single scripture says that suicide is wrong and it is a sin. Jagat Guru Adi Shankaracharya in his book Viveka Chudamani says, gaining birth as a human is considered a rare opportunity for the Jeev to attain the ultimate truth through the intellect. We should not waste this rare opportunity. If the Upanishads are the textbooks of philosophical principles discussing man, world, and God, the Gita is a handbook of instructions as to how every human being can come to live the subtle philosophical principles of Vedanta in the actual work-a-day world. The Gita contains not only deep philosophical concepts but also the principles and techniques which, if put into practice with full sincerity, are extremely effective in unimaginable physical, mental, and spiritual ways. One of the most appealing shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita is the 66th shlok in 18th chapter. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. That is, abandoning all dharmas of the body, mind, and intellect, take refuge in me alone. I will liberate thee from all sins. Do not grieve. The Gita is considered to be the quintessence of all Shastras. In his commentary on the Gita, Swami Chinmayananda writes of this particular verse, this is the noblest of all the stanzas in the divine song. There are no doubt a few other stanzas in the Gita wherein the Lord has almost directly commanded us to live a certain way of life and has promised that if we obey His instructions, He will directly take the responsibility of guiding us towards His own being. But nowhere has the Lord so directly and openly expressed His divine willingness to undertake the service of His devotee as in this stanza. He proceeds to explain the term dharma and concludes that the context of this verse, renouncing all dharmas, means ending the ego completely. The verse conveys that in order to get rid of all negative tendencies, unhealthy thoughts, anxiety, and worries, one should totally surrender to the highest power, which implies opening one's mind without any reservations and doubts to the inflow of divine consciousness. The needed guidance will come spontaneously. Gita gives direct guidance to our problems. Like in this context, how our mental confusion, delusion, desires, passions destroy our inner peace and how to control them. Bhagavad Gita's first chapter is full of the description of the dark state of mind and conscience of Arjuna, so that first chapter is known as the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, that is, the grief of Arjuna. Chapter 1, verse 28 and 29 are implicit about the stress and anxiety of Arjuna. दृष्टमेवं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपथुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते. Arthat, Arjun said, "Seeing, O Krishna, these my kinsmen gathered here eager to fight, my limbs fail me and my mouth is parched up. I shiver all over and my hair stands on end. The bow, Gandhi, slips from my hand and my skin burns." In the 45th verse of the same chapter, Arjuna goes on to say, Aho bat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena hantum svajanamudyataha. That is, alas, we are involved in a great sin, in that we are prepared to slay our kinsmen out of greed for the pleasure for a kingdom. In the second chapter, the blessed Lord says to Arjun, Klaibyam masmagamah partha naitatvayupapadyate kshudram rudhaya daurbalyam tyaktvotishtha parantapa. Artha, yield not to unmanliness, O son of Pritha. Ill doth it become thee. Cast off this mean faint-heartedness and arise, O scorcher of thy enemies. In the 6th chapter, called Dhyana Yogo Nama, or the way of meditation, in the 34th verse, Arjun says, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna प्रमाथि बलवदृढं तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम्. Verily, the mind, O Krishna, is restless, turbulent, strong and unyielding. I regard it quite as hard to achieve its control as that of the wind. The blessed Lord replies, Shri Bhagavanuvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Manodurnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Gruhyate. Without doubt, O mighty aunt, the mind is restless and difficult to control. But through practice and renunciation, O son of Kunti, it may be governed. This is a humble attempt on my part to throw some light on the teachings of the Gita to overcome depression and anxiety. Bhagavad Gita is an encyclopedia of mental health education. Modern man wants peace of mind. If today his peace has been badly disturbed, he himself is to blame. Having created an environment conducive to restlessness, if he expects peace within and without, it is like keeping the hand in fire and expecting not to be burned. Peace can be disturbed due to various reasons. It is here that Gita comes to our rescue. The greatness and the popularity of the Gita can be attributed to several factors. It is a part and parcel of the epic Mahabharata, which itself has been highly venerated as the fifth Ved, Bharato Panchamo Vedaha. The teacher of the Gita is Sri Krishna, who is regarded by the Hindus as an avatar or incarnation of God Himself, an ideal friend, a great statesman, an invincible warrior, a wise preceptor, and a yogi par excellence. He harmonizes in his life the various conflicting activities of life. It is precisely this that makes him the fittest person to preach such a religio spiritual classic. Arjun, the recipient of the teaching, though himself a great warrior, is a typical representative of the humans liable to be upset or confused during periods of crisis. Hence, his predicament very much represents ours in similar situation. The questions, doubts, and misgivings he raises and the solutions that Sri Krishna offers are not only relevant but also valid even today. I thank the organizers and especially Ravindra sir for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.